Hello, Michael Rice again. This micro course is going to talk about cognitive construction and learning styles. As we see many different types of students, we also see many different types of learners. And there are ways that each of them process information and learn in a different process. This is particularly important when you're starting to look at putting them into clinical situations and where they might learn the best in clinical. Now, cognitive constructivism is really an old theory. It's based on Piaget, and it uses the assumption that learning is really an active cognitive process of constructing ideas and understanding, rather than the passive assimilation of information or rote memorization. Within this model, learning is a process involving getting information, organizing it, putting it within the individual's way of thinking, their own cognitive process. And through that, then learning as they process and store that information. Within that model, there are several different styles. The first is the accommodator. The accommodator is someone who does and feels about it. They learn primarily by the hands-on. They're classically experiential learners. They act on their gut, oftentimes based on prior constructs and understanding, rather than a logical analysis or something intuitive about this. They rely more heavily on people for information than on technical analysis of any information they've read or seen. They like to get involved in new experiences, and they're largely task-oriented. Then there's the diverger. The diverger is someone who feels and watches. You often see these people standing back just a moment and watching what other things do first. They view concrete solutions from many different points of view. They're sort of like brainstorming at the same time and generating new ideas. They observe rather than take action initially, but they are very imaginative because they look at different points of view and very creative. The next type of learner is the assimilator. This is someone who watches and thinks while they're watching. So you can almost see these people's heads kind of churning the little gears and putting things together. They really focus more on the abstract ideas and concepts than on people and what people are doing. So it's more important for them and that the theory is sound rather than having any practical value of what the task is. Now, these people will become intensely questioning, oftentimes in medications and combinations of medications that really don't fit that algorithm that we all know. Sometimes it's that subtle clinical gems that we all have learned over time that throws these people the most. They do take a wide range of information and eventually put it into a very concise and logical form. Then there's the converger. Convergers are actually the doers and thinkers, the people who jump right in. They actually like the practical application of ideas rather than the theory. They're solution focused and they're oftentimes quick decision makers. They will prefer to deal with technical problems rather than the social or interpersonal issues. This often becomes an issue around what is the best treatment approach for people. And so for these people, the quickest solution oftentimes is the medication rather than the interpersonal problem solving and psychotherapy that's needed. They do best when there is a single right answer. Now, all of this fits within an experiential learning model, where learning is a process, where it's created and transformed through the experience. If we start just at the top, at the concrete experience, where they do things, all students really begin to do things and are requested to do tasks and things to meet their competencies. We then ask that they reflect on them. And obviously, different individuals, such as the converger, will think about it and logically reflect on it at a different point in time. But we ask that they reflect on the action, what they did. From that then develops this abstract conceptualization or thinking, and they begin to understand and construct an understanding of that. Based on their understanding of that, they then plan active experimentation or plan about interventions and take the next step. That active experimentation then provides a concrete experience which allows them to again begin the cycle and modify their learning and their performance.